Hello, Rashmi.
Hi, Sherry. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Is it
Good.
just the two of us?
Yeah, you know, these people, they come late.
Well, at least I remembered today.
Yes, well done. Hi, Lucretia. You've got no sound, Lucretia.
Hi, Sherry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. How are you?
Great stuff. I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm excellent, thank you.
Great. Well, how are we doing with our participants? Hi, Rashmi.
Lucretia, they usually come at about 5 past.
All right. So just to let you know, I do have load shedding kicking in at 8. So I'm going to try and zoom through like really quickly with everything to ensure that we don't miss out on most of the stuff. What I have gone and done is for the actual Canva section, you know, where we've got to download the app and all of that, I've just gone straight through to the video because I was a bit concerned that we may just lose out on time. So
Okay.
I've just covered everything for us.
No problem. That sounds great. Thank you. So I'm just going to give them a few minutes and then I'll introduce you and we can start.
No problem. Thanks, Sherry.
Good.
Hey, Sma. Good to have you join us.
Hi, Lucretia. Hi, everyone. Hi.
You're welcome, Michelle. While we're waiting for everybody to join us, how about we just engage in how is everybody's day? How are things out in the different areas? Where are you signing in from? Let's start there. Sma, a little bit about your business, where you signing in from. Tell me something about yourself.
Okay, hi. My name is Ma. I am signing in from Durban.
Oh, yay, my hometown.
Yeah.
Hopefully a lot
Durban in South
warmer than
Africa,
up here.
If it's international, but I mean, yeah, South Africa, Durban in South Africa. Thank you.
And Michelle, where are you signing in from? Okay, I think Michelle may. Oh, wonderful, Greytown. Lovely. All the way out there. How nice. I love Greytown, by the way. Small, but very, very, very nice community out there. Yeah, I like the cold though.
Cold.
Yeah. I love the cold, so it works for me. Hi, Rashmi, where are you signing in from?
Hi, everyone. I'm from Pietermaritzburg. Sorry. Yeah, Pietermaritzburg, company called Zeland Trading. And yeah, looking forward to the session because I need to put together color brochure and haven't started it yet.
Well, then I think you're in the right place. Let's hope I can be of some assistance to you.
Thank you.
Oh, losing people.
It's probably the cold weather out there. Just snapping.
Just think, you know, with load shedding, all the signal just goes up and down, all over the place. Here's somebody who shares the same surname as you.
Yes, he does. Hey, Mr. Poulton, welcome. I think he's still connecting to audio there.
Yeah, he's in now.
Hi, Anil. Welcome. Special shout out to my cousin Anil, who is actually who's a writer, and he's into. Wow. Okay. No, I'm not even going to do this. You introduce yourself.
Okay. I hope you guys can see me. Hi, everyone. I didn't even know that I was going to introduce myself. I just thought I'll sneak in and just watch. But okay.
No, well,
Let me get the screen right.
For everything to join.
Now you can't see me. Okay. But you can somehow. Okay. I hope so. I'm Anil Poulton, Lucretia's cousin. I'm a screenwriter and a member of the Writers Guild. So as a screenwriter, I write these stories behind the movies or the television programs or the short movies. So I write in the dialogue, the action, what needs to be done. I also come up with a concept. If there's no concept, and I sell it to possibly a producer who will then produce it. So that's what I do. I'm a member of the Writers Guild, and the Writers Guild is an organization that has a mandate to protect and empower performance writers. So in performance writers, we mean writers that write for stage, television, radio, anything that needs to be performed. So that's what you call a performance writer. So the Writers Guild of South Africa is that organization that if there's a problem, we will step in and give advice to our members. So we also run training courses that happens almost every week, where we get a different person to speak on a different topic. And there's a wide range of topics, like from creating and delivering a story to the law and how it applies to you as a writer, including packaging of your product. And sometimes we even get people from the different networks, like say Mnet would come in and give a talk on how to submit to their platforms. So that's what we do, and that's what I do. So I'm a screenwriter 24/7. That's what I do all the time. So it's my work. So here I am. So if you have any questions, and if Lucretia allows it, you can ask me, and I'll be glad to help you out on that.
I think in content creation, Anil could be quite an asset to a number of our businesswomen.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be glad to help if anything that you need. And in terms of screenwriting, scripts, story creation, whether it be documentaries, I can also help with documentaries, although that's not my specialization. My specialization is mostly fiction. So that's where I am. That's my expertise. Whether it be long fiction or short fiction, or even series, that's where I go.
Thank you. Are we doing for our time, Sherry?
I think I'm going to start, and I'll just let in those that come in because it's 5 past now.
Great.
All right, so good evening and welcome everyone, and a special welcome to our last week, week 6 of the Women in Business E-Preneur program for 2023. We've had 6 great sessions with 6 great experts who have really helped us to start to understand our digital world and digital business, and what the tools that help us in doing business in the digital space. This evening, we have Lucretia Poulton with us. Lucretia is a long-time Women in Business member, and we love to have her, and we're grateful to have her with us. She is the director of AfriCrafters down in Durban, and this evening she's going to be sharing with us the tool Canva and how we can use that to help our business. So I'm going to hand over to Lucretia. Lucretia, thank you so much for your time. We value it, and we appreciate you, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Sherry. So hi, everybody. A can't say hi, ladies, because we have quite a few gentlemen in the room today. So hi, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So basically, I come from my career started in media advertising many moons ago, and a lot has changed since I started, because I started in print media and everything has become so digital, and the tech has changed, the way we do things has changed. And one of the things that I found in possibly the last 2 years that has worked brilliantly for my business has been Canva. Not just my business, but a number of people that I know have used it quite effectively in their business. And the great part about Canva and basic graphic design skills used for Canva has, we can use it right off our phones. So literally wherever you're sitting, you can create an ad within about a minute or 2 minutes based on the content that you've already got on your phone, your video clips, your photographs, etc. So what I'm going to start off with is the 5 basic graphic design skills. It's fairly simple, fairly quick, fairly easy. We're going to run through it really quickly. As I said to Sherry right at the beginning before many of you joined, I do have load shedding coming in shortly. So I'm going to try and get through everything as fast as I possibly can so that I can get the question and answer session at the end. However, should you guys lose me, I'm going to switch you over to the actual to another Canva video that I have backup plan, so we know that we don't lose out on anything here. So if, as I said, you guys lose me and you switch over to the video, just know that it's load shedding. I have switched over. So I'm just going to share my screen quickly with you so we could go through our PowerPoint presentation. Just bear with me for a second while I figure this out. Okay. Feel free to talk to each other as you go through, as I go through my screen.
Maybe I should do more advertising for the Writers Guild. It will sound like a good idea. So glad to see Mahendra in there and the rest of you. So with the Writers Guild, it's a organization that comprises of about 500 members, and we intend to bring in more members. Now, Writers Guild is one of those guilds that is part of a whole range of guilds. So we're back to Canva, and we'll speak about this later.
Great. Okay. So, guys, as I said at the very beginning, I'm going to start off with the 5 basic designs, the 5 basic concepts of graphic design, right? So when you start your, can you all see my screen before I even start to talk? Okay, great stuff. So when you start off with your adverts or creating an advert or anything for that matter, it's extremely important for you to, first of all, start off with color schemes. Now, color schemes are extremely important because color schemes invoke different types of things in your adverts or what people see in your videos, etc., or whatever it is that you are creating. So, for example, and please, guys, just unmute and shout out whenever you feel like it. When you look at the color red, what is it that it invokes in you immediately if you had to look at the color red on this page? Feel free to unmute and shout out.
Anger or warning.
Okay.
Oh.
Passion. Passion.
Great. Sorry, go on. Did I miss someone there?
I said passion.
All right. So so red invokes anger, or it invokes red is also a passionate color. It's a color that's associated with power. So it just depends on how you're looking at it, and it can be used differently. So let's just say you had to use the color green. What does that invoke in you? Green, guys, what does green bring up? It's going to be
nature.
Calmness. Yes, nature. So that's a kind of emotions it's going to bring up. So therefore, when you're using color, it's extremely important that you that you associate your colors with what it is that you want to bring across to your client, right? So let's just say your cooler color colors like your blues, your greens, etc., are going to evoke, or rather would be associated with things like the spas, would be things like your holidays, escapes, that sort of thing. So you're going to think of an ocean escape, and you're going to be using your blues. You're going to be thinking of a mountain escape, and you're going to be using your greens. And then let's just say you own a company that does fire safety or fire hydrants or firefighting. You're going to go for the reds. Or let's just say you're talking love and kindness.
Mhm.
And then you're going to reds, and so on and so forth. With your brand, bearing in mind that you got to keep your brand exposure. It has to be very, very important. You'll also notice as you go through my slides, there's a lot of white space, but to your so yes, if there's, and please feel free to, the next thing you need to do when you're working with color schemes is actually thinking about color palettes, right? So let's just take the reds, for example. And if we're working with red and we look at the color red, so I'm just going to quickly go through this here, and I'm going to show you, how we would do this. So if you're looking through with the color red and you're working with red, you would then immediately work with, now I'm using PowerPoint right now, right? But if you're filling this shape and you decide, I want to leave it sells fire hydrants, everything has to be about fire hydrants and so on and so forth. So I'm going to work with, if you drop down here and you look at your colors, you're going to get color palette. And as you can see me going through this, those are the color palettes you'll work with. Always work with colors that are all in the same sort of category when you're working to build your brand and to build whatever emotion you are trying to bring through on that particular advert or post that you are doing. So this is so easy, guys. You don't even have to think this through. As soon as you've decided on the color scheme that you want, just work with colors from these drop-down boxes in terms of filling out your shape. And in Canva, or not necessarily your shape, sorry, your backgrounds of your adverts. And in Canva, the options are endless. By the way, how many of you do have the Canva app on your phones or on your laptops currently? How many of you are using it? Are there many of you using it? Great, I see one there. Okay, great. So, the thing is, again, it comes back to, it's a free tool, it's available, use it. Once you get great at it, then you can start to download and use the paid for portions. Now, when you're working with colors using odd number of colors, use odd numbers of colors when you are creating it. Not only does it create a visual harmony, but it also doesn't. So if you do like a 3, 5, or 7 numbers, of 7 being the most you should actually use, you are not all over the place, you're not scattered, and it also gives you a variation in tone and hues on your actual advert itself. When you want to create an advert that is going to be punchy, you stick with 3 colors. Stick with 3 major colors from the same color palette. You'll find that it will give you greater visibility to the person who's looking at the advert. It's easier on the eye. I mean, let's just take something like Coca-Cola or Mnet or Vodacom or any of those big advertisers. How many colors do you know? Coca-Cola just uses 2 colors. It's red and white. And even no matter what we do, when we see red and white, the first thing we think of is Coca-Cola. Or if we see black and yellow, we think of Mnet, So these are all forefront colors. They're punchy, they're to the point, they're bright, they're in your face. And with us at AfriCrafters, we use a lot of gold and black. I'm thinking of changing this completely, but gold and black being the primary 2 colors that contrast each other. So again, it comes back to you, how you want to use it and the way you want to use it, but just bear in mind, try not to go more than 3, 5, or 7 at a time. Odd numbers are always are very pleasant on the eye to look at. So moving along, the next thing we're going to talk about is on your color palettes is, again, your base colors, right? When we go to base colors, your base colors must always your social media posts, whatever it is, kind of have across every single item, people recognize your brand. So if you look here, you will see that here, if you look at here, this is the base color. It's carried over right through across to the websites, to the to their social media advertising, to everything. So this is one company that uses the dark blue as their base color. This company is using black as the base color. This company again is using black as their base color. So you decide on what your base color is and ensure that your base color is always very prominent at all times, regardless of where you're using it or what you're using it with. Just ensure that your base color is always the same, because again, coming back to Coca-Cola as an example, whenever you see the red and the white, you immediately associate it with Coca-Cola. So you will notice that no matter what they do, whether they switch their fonts around, whether the font becomes red and the background's white, or the font is white and the background is red, the point is that red is always there. That red never ever changes. So we always associate that with Coca-Cola. So the color scheme, being the base color is when we talk about, so the next thing that we need to talk about, and sorry guys, I know I'm going really fast because I just don't want you to lose out on so much we have to talk about. So the next thing to talk about is your font schemes. So when you're using fonts on your advertisements, again, on whatever it is used, be it social media, your adverts, your brochures, always remember to use a max. So between different types to read different fonts and different ways of actually of your font coming across. So when the mind has to focus on the different types of fonts, what happens is that it gets a little bit confused. And when it gets confused and it gets bored and it just stops reading. So you don't want that to happen. You want your font to be simple, again, simple, bold, punchy. It has to be focused on what the important factors are. For example, today, when you got that advert for our to me and said, where's the time and where's the date? And Sherry, yes, I was going to ask you, Sherry, where's the time and where's the date on this? But there was no time and date on it. And the great part was that everybody who came back to me asked me, where's the, and they said, I've looked through the entire advert and I couldn't find the time and date. So again, the font scheme, the time and date was not there, definitely, but the font schemes that are used in your adverts are very, very important. And also, obviously, this brings us back to the fact that your editing is also extremely important to make sure that the important pertinent points are there and they stand out for the reader. So if you look here, you'll see there's only 3 different font types, right? And the 3 different font types will tell you that that's the bold. There's only 3. It's different, and it's the font types. Now, if I have to look here, only 2 different font types, but which is easier to read between these 2? Obviously, this one, right? So this is definitely far easier to read, this a little more difficult to read. So it comes back to what I was saying earlier, where be very cognizant of the type of fonts to use. While it looks really cool, it looks really, really cool when you're designing it to have all these funky and interesting fonts. It's not that cool when you're reading it. So for example, I know a lot of people like using, I think it's called, not Comic Sans, but it's a sort of a very spindly writing that when you look at it on the screen, it looks really great. But when you actually, when it comes up on your social media or on your adverts, on your brochures, it's way too thin and spindly. So you can't read it from afar. And then older people like myself, wiser people, you know, we struggle because then we got to put our glasses on and then we like really got to get right in there to see what this font is about. So bear that in mind as well. You know, when you're choosing your font schemes, when you're choosing your colors, etc., bear in mind your audience. Your audience is so important, guys, because if you are talking to a young audience, like bright colors, you know, they want the yellows and they want the reds and they want that sort of colors. You're talking to a teen audience, it's a very thing with them, and you know, it's the blacks and the whites, and there's not much color going on in their world. And then when you're talking to us, we just know what we want. So whatever you put out there, we will either like it or we won't like it. But make it easy for us to read and for us to be able to distinguish when you are targeting our age audience. So I'm going to move on to my next slide, which is your color. So again, let's to what I said earlier on about using 3 colors and using base colors and using color pads. Now, all of that is great if you what sort of an audience you are targeting. However, there are times when color can actually work, just one color can work so much to your advantage, like this particular slide here. So here, if you have to, for example, say 1 in 5 women are entrepreneurs, doing it this way is boring. But if you used color and you say 1 in 5 women are entrepreneurs, you can see how it stands out. So using color in that way can be very effective to bring your point across. And then I'm going to move on to your font. So again, switching back to the previous slides, let's just rewind where I spoke to you about the different types of fonts and how to use different types of fonts to come across. Now, again, knowing where to place your font is very important as well. So you will find that, for example, with this particular one, I don't know where to look first because there's just too much going on right here. Right? But if I have to look at this one, then you can see I know where to look first because it's telling you exactly what it needs to tell you. It's to the point. It's very clear cut. So your font, placement of your font, very important, extremely important. Again, we love to experiment as new young designers or new fresh, you know, we think we're fresh in the industry. We're going to come up with this. We spend 10 hours designing this amazing ad and it turns out looking like this. And everybody's completely confused because they don't really know what it is that you are trying to say here. So keep it simple, keep it punchy again, keep it to the point, and keep it straight lines. Straight lines are always great. They're really great. But curved lines are good too. Nothing wrong with that. But just ensure that that whatever it is that you are trying to say doesn't get lost in the actual design of the advert, right? And then, now this is an important one. This is such an important one because what happens is when we design on an app like Canva or any app for that matter, you will find that because we have the advantage of all of our social media platforms being interconnected. What happens is that when we post on one platform, as you guys know, we can post it across all platforms, right? So what then happens is when you design an advert, for example, for Instagram, right? So you've designed your advert for Instagram and it's all cool and it's all Instagram ready. And then you pop it on Instagram and it obviously goes across to your Facebook platform. When it goes to your Facebook platform, it's a whole other story because it doesn't look like it should look on Instagram or for that matter on whatever it is done previously. So what happens then is that your ad may get stretched or your ad may get distorted or pixelated or whatever the case might be. So when you're creating, always create in order to put your whatever you're doing, whichever social media platform you're doing it for, always create in order to be able to come across in the best possible way on Facebook or Instagram or wherever it is that you're putting this across. The second thing I want to say to you is that when you're doing anything in print, so your brochures, your flyers, your whatever it may be, so what would look great on your business card is going to look awful on your flyer or on your banner, or as it gets larger and larger, it's going to look really, really terrible. Therefore, each of those different mediums need to be designed separately. So your banner, as opposed to your business card, as opposed to a brochure or flyer, will take a different resolution. Now, this is going to take you a little bit more in-depth, and this is where graphic designers come in. But just to give you the basics, the ideal resolution for anything is 600 dpi. If you can keep to 600 dpi, you will have no problem in terms of your resolution as your advert or whatever it is that you're placing out there expands. So whenever you are requesting something from a graphic designer, tell your graphic designer you want it created in 600 dpi at any point. And if they tell you, look, what are you creating for? And then you will tell them, no, it's for my brochure or whatever the key. They'll tell you, no, let's just drop it down to 300. Just say no, you want it at 600 dpi at all times. Maximum. It gives you the maximum for the way the color comes across, the sharpness of your images, basically anything, because you can then just blow it up to your banner sizes. You can even, with the 600 dpi, you can go as large as a possible a standee banner, you know, the ones that they put out for the big movie screens and things. That's as large as you can go on a 600 dpi. And then obviously on the smaller scales, it looks fabulous. It's just so clear cut and crisp. So always remember 600 dpi. Don't forget that when you're doing your graphic designs. But as I was just to go back there, so when you're creating for your different platforms, just bear in mind that what works on Facebook may not necessarily work on Instagram. And sometimes we put something up on Instagram, we think it's looking great on Facebook. When we open it up on the laptop, it's looking really bad. So just remember that when you're creating it, put it on the different platforms if you have to, on privacy mode. Check how it looks before you make it public or put it out there to the masses, because you know you just don't want your brand to be looking bad when it gets out there. So moving on to the next slide. So readability. Now readability, again, it's you know taking you back to what I've just spoken about, but when you're looking at, if you look at these two again, right, now you will see that on the right, if you can see the color schemes, you can see how dull it looks. There's no sharpness here. And then if you look on the left, you can actually done for you social media marketing from just $999 per month, etc., etc. Now, what I want to say to you here is that if you look, where do you want your focus to fall? This is why I've got these two different ones here. Where would you like your focus to fall here? So you want your focus to fall on this section of the advert. Therefore, this section of the advert has got to be brighter, sharper, more punchy, bold lines, straight lines, the 999 standing out with the red color. You're using two colors here to bring your point across. As opposed to when you look at this one, while this is bold and bright and all of the above, it's exactly the same. The attention is here. You'll find that this is receding into the background. So the emphasis here is on this and not on this, as opposed to here where the emphasis is on this and not really on this. So if you had to choose between these two, this would work better in terms of the pertinence of what you want to bring across to your audience. Again, either can work. It just depends on what it is that you want to say. Do you want to bring the attention here, or do you want to bring the attention here? Okay. And then let's move on to white space. So white space. So when I started my career in advertising, one of the first things I learned was white space, white space, white space. So what I learned was that if you could just have, like I showed you earlier on with the 1 in 5 women, you could just literally have that and you can bring your entire message across. But what we find is that a lot of people have a tendency to use every single piece of part or section of this white space and fill it up, and it just becomes way too busy, like I told you right at the very beginning. So white space is extremely important. It draws your reader's attention, or your watcher, or the person looking at your advert. It draws their attention to what it is you want to bring their attention to. So this sort of design as you can see here, this is a big no-no, because this is just way too busy. There's just way too much going on, and it's difficult for somebody to decide where they want to look on the actual picture or advert, as opposed to here, because here, as you can see, it's just 1, 2, 3 lines, and that's it. That's all we need to talk about, because that's all we want to talk about on this. So white space, extremely important. Black space, green space, yellow space, whatever it is, but a background space is keeping it clean at all times. And then alignment. Now, when you are speaking about alignment, or when we are speaking about alignment, sometimes what looks great on the screen does not necessarily look great on the advert, as we said before. So when you read anything, or when you create any sort of ad, be very, very aware of the alignment. The reason for this, again, is that it needs to be easy to read, easy to understand, easy on the eye. So this is not aligned, it looks messy. This is aligned, it looks much neater, it's easier to read. The brain finds it easier to read. Left to right, it's very simple. Your eyes can move very quickly over it. So and also remember that in this day and age, because we are consuming so much all the time across all sorts of social media, across adverts, across billboards, across all sorts of things, you need to find a way to make whatever it is that you want to say stand out from the rest. So the simpler, the better. The easier it is on your eye, the easier it is for the person to read and consume. And that's it, guys. We've just gone through the 5 basic principles of graphic design. I hope that you have all, it's been a bit of benefit to all of you. The one thing that I do want to say to you is just bear this in mind, right? We've gone through everything. I didn't go through it in extreme detail. I've just touched on subjects and I've touched on things because it is a basic, basic principles of graphic design. So just remember color scheme, your font scheme, the hierarchy, which is how things are arranged on your actual advert, the size and scale, and your composition. That's all it takes to create a really good advert or a really good social media post. So any questions? Yes, no?
Shashika has a question. Go ahead, Shashika.
Hey, Shash.
Hey, Lou. Thanks, man. I was like, wow. Good evening, everybody. I love the creative part of myself, but today, hearing all this and putting into perspective, it's something that I've never really thought about. I'm actually just a very random creator. I've never really taken the technical side of it. I just go on what, what actually comes out from the mind, from the creative side. But now that you've added in these 5 aspects over here, I promise you, I certainly am going to be putting that into use, and let's see what comes out after that. I certainly will tag you on the social media there. And yeah, thank you so much.
Shashi,
but this was
thank you
huge help.
Thank you so much, Shashi. I must say to everybody, Shashi puts out some really, really amazing posts, some really amazing adverts, across all of her social media. And sometimes she just blows me away with some of the things she has to say in her social media. And so this coming from you, Shashi, that means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so amazing yourself.
Thanks, Shash. You too. Anybody else? Any more questions before I
So
switch over?
I have a question.
Yes.
So very often we feel like we have a lot to say, and you feel pushed to say it because of whatever reason. But there's a lot that you need to get into a small space. And I find that a lot of the times we get adverts or even posts or flyers or little bits of information that have a lot of information in a small little post. And how do we avoid that, or how do we make that better digestible and better designed? Is there a way to get the right amount of information out on one post without it being cluttered, or what's the secret?
Yes. So, Sherry, I'm trying to think of an example. Give me an example of something that you have done, which you feel may have had way too much of information. So perhaps
Well,
we can
I'm just looking at just using, like, say, women in business adverts for events. There's so
Right.
much information that has to go on there, and people always still, even though you've put, you know, the date, the time, the this, the that, the whatever, you know, who's speaking, where it's going to be online or in person or whatever the case, you put all that information. You're also putting where they've got to register and all those kinds of the cost and those kind of things on. And I just feel like that's a whole whack of information in one space, and people will still come back and say, where's this, or how's that, or whatever. And I just feel like by doing that, you lose the effect of the design.
Agreed. So it goes back to what I was just saying earlier on about we have to consume so much of information every day, all the time, when we are on our phones, when we are driving, whatever the case might be. So with you speaking about like women in business adverts, and obviously I see the adverts all the time and I know exactly what you are talking about. I think the challenge that we have is that people don't read. Stop. So what they're doing is they're just scanning and they literally flicking past it and not reading the important information. And again, that comes back to the example of today. And there were a few people that are currently in the group right now who got back to me and said to me, where's the time? What time is this? Is this today? So those people are the people who actually read it in detail and realized, wait a minute, the important information is missing from this.
However,
yeah,
well, with your ad, just to stick my finger in there, with your ad, that only went to people who were registered for the program.
No, I'm aware of that.
So it didn't need the date.
Yeah, I am aware of that. So the what I had done was obviously shared it with my immediate people. But what I want to say to you is that it's not even about that. What I'm saying is that people do not read the details, and that is a sad reality. Therefore, for example, a women in business event, the most important information you need to bring through is date, time, cost, venue, and the topic. That is the most important information that needs to come through. Everything else is just secondary information. So let's just say we're doing a high tea, right? So let's just call it the Pink Ladies High Tea. So the Pink Ladies High Tea comes across at the top in aid of breast cancer. Date, time, venue, etc. For more information, contact me, or whatever, So for more information, see our Facebook page, and then on our Facebook page, boom, 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 additional information is there. Or for more information, DM me, or whatever the case might be, depending on the platform that you are using to take that advert across. But it again comes back to what is the most relevant information that you need to get across. And people don't have time to read long adverts with lots of information. They really don't have it. It's not even that they don't have the time. They're just too lazy.
They won't.
Yeah, they're just too lazy. How often have we had instances where all the information is right there and the person comes back and asks you a question and you think, wait a minute, it was right there. But then comes back to also the way the adverts laid out. So the important information, bold colors, bold font, bold everything. And then the secondary information just goes in as a little blurb or a little block on the side or whatever the case might be. I hope that helps, Sherry.
Yeah, thanks. It does.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm not going to feel pressurized to put a lot of information in.
No, don't be. Shashi?
Okay, Shashika.
Sorry, this is my favorite topic. I think a perfect example would be when you have to pitch your business in under 2 minutes or under 5 minutes, and you need to put it, you need to scale down your information and put it onto a one-pager. And that's a lot of information that you need to scale down. I think that would be a perfect example, Lou, if you could take it from there and tell us how exactly can we actually scale down all that information and put it onto a 1 minute or even just a one-pager.
So Shash, I don't know if you recall, you know, we've often done this, the 30-second pitch. You know, the elevator pitch. Remember the elevator pitch?
Yes, yes,
So
I do.
whatever you need to say about your business, or whatever you need to say about a product, whatever you need to say about anything at that point. So let's just say we're talking, we've got a new product, right? So you've got a new gluten-free roti on the market, and you want to just talk about your gluten-free roti. So the most important thing is three words, sorry, gluten-free rotis. That's the three most important words that need to come across in your adverts. And that's what you need to, your entire focus needs to be around that. So literally, that is all you have to do is gluten-free rotis. Get your gluten-free rotis at Top Rotis. Gluten-free rotis now available at Top Rotis, and your contact details. That's it. There's nothing more, nothing less needed. And of course, your picture, or you making a roti, or whatever the case might be.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it's like we're trying to catch everybody in one go, rather than just being specific about that particular thing at that particular time for that particular flyer. And then
Correct.
maybe having to create another flyer for a different particular thing, rather than trying to, so we're crowding the space rather than being specific about what we want to get out.
Yes. So look, again, it comes back to also budgets. Budgets are so important, Sherry. You know, we as startups and as small businesses, when we have to look at the cost of graphic design budgets and social media budgets, etc., many startups cannot afford those budgets. So when the common mistake or common error we make is that we try to say everything about our business in as small amount of space as possible, or trying to use as many of the free platforms as we can. And therefore, you know, we sometimes, it's a catch-22 situation for us, because we, on the one hand, we want to say everything about our business at one go, but on the other hand, and should we do that, then we're going to lose the interest of the reader or the listener. So you have to decide what is important to you as a business person. Is it important to you to have all of your information, of which some could be lost along the way? Or is it important to you to build your business gradually in terms of the product offerings that you have? So for example, Top Rotis, I'll use them as an example again, where Shashi will speak about gluten-free rotis today. And then, oh wow, so Top Rotis makes gluten-free rotis. Let me like and follow them and see what else they do. And then tomorrow she talks about coconut flour rotis. And then the following day she talks about almond flour rotis, and so on and so forth. So every day she is now in that one simple advert of hers, where she's just focused on one item at a time. She's built up interest, she's building up a following, and she's building up the repeat consumer of her adverts. And that is where we can work at an advantage as well as a small business. So create 4 lines or 5 lines of products and work on one product line at a time to build it up and building up your brand. And by then you've obviously built up a client base, your funds start to increase. You can now allocate a budget doing more work with a professional graphic designer or a professional company for that matter. I hope that covers that answer. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Okay, so so we're going on to it's 1946 now, guys. So my load shedding may just kick in shortly. So I'm just going to go ahead, and this is a really cool video that I had as a backup plan, just in case my load shedding kicked in before or after our question and answer session went on. So I'm going to love you and leave you. And I'm going to leave you with this video, which is really cool. I hope that you all have the Canva app downloaded to your phones, because Dominique's going to go through a whole lot of wonderful features of the Canva app, and she's going to show you how to use it effectively. And like I said, right at the very beginning, you in under 1 minute, okay, perhaps I'm exaggerating, but I'd say in under 5 minutes, you can create some pretty cool stuff for Instagram, for Facebook, for your business cards, your flyers, your brochures, whatever it is you need. Templates are there. Everything is there. You just got to follow the guidelines, and that's on the free Canva. So once you've gone through enough in terms of your capital, buy the app or buy into the app, and then you can get on to the better features that they have. But the basic features that Canva has is sufficient for a startup or a small business to do some pretty great, excellent marketing, excellent advertising. So thank you everyone, for signing in and for listening in today. And just before I run off, I've got literally 12 minutes. If there's any more questions, please just ask me now, and then I can just get this video going. I take that as a no.
Looks like we're ready for your video.
All right. Thanks everybody, and have yourself.
Thanks, Lucretia.
You're welcome. Give me a second. I'm going to share it short. Right. Have you got my screen yet, Sherry?
No, not yet.
Give me a second.
Just remember, when you share it, to share sound too. Just tick the box at the bottom.
Okay. Okay, just give me a second. Sorry. Screen.
Okay, we can see it. We can't hear her though.
I can't see. Oh, right.
Its
You can see the share sound there.
homepage is just a recommended for you platform. So it shows you presets, templates that it thinks you will like and that you will use. So that's a super awesome thing about Canva, is that it gives you these templates that you can just fill in. So if you're not that creative, or if you're pressed for time, Canva is a great option that you can utilize. Over here on the left, on this menu over here, we then click all your designs. This is where you find a library of all the designs you've created. So I'm going to show you later how to actually create a design, but then once you have, you will find everything here, so it's all in one place. Something really nice on Canva is that you can delete things. So if you no longer need it, or you're going to recreate it, you can just click over here, move to trash, and it will delete it for you. And then your library is clean once more. Another really awesome thing about Canva is that you can share things. You can share things via links, like a cloud document, to other people. So you can share a presentation, or you can share a service menu or a cost menu to a client. These are all sort of paid features. So remember that we're taking you through the free version of Canva. So these are all paid features. But then over here in trash, we can find what we deleted earlier. And then you can find that you can delete it permanently. So if you really, you don't need it anymore, you want to get rid of it, you can delete it forever. Amazing. Then we're going to take you up here to the top menu. So obviously now we're on home. Over here is the incredible feature of Canva, which is your templates. So as you can see, they have templates for literally everything. So social media, coaching business or education business work. Over here, this is just sort of more in-depth features of Canva, but you want to learn more and you want to learn how to use it to its best advantage, you can come here and visit this library of courses. And then, of course, if you want to upgrade to the premium version, which is plus minus $200 a month, you can come here to pricing and upgrade. All right, fantastic. Now let's jump into the fun part. So you're wondering, how the heck do we actually create a design on this awesome graphic design software called Canva? So you come over here to this big purple button, create a design, and you click on it. this is what I was talking about earlier when I mentioned presets. And remember that it's important to get your preset right if you're trying to get the fourth basic principle of graphic design right, which is your size and scale. So if you want to create an Instagram post, you will click on this preset and it will give you the right dimensions. If we're trying to create a business card, we will click on this and it will give us the right dimensions for a business card. You can also type here anything that you're looking for. So for example, if we're looking for a Facebook ad, we can type that in and it will give us the right dimensions. But anyway, let's just click here on an Instagram post because that is the preset we are going to start off with. Once you click on it, it will open to the Instagram preset page. And this is the canvas, the preset that we're going to be designing on. So here at the top, you can name your design anything. This helps to just organize your admin. So we'll just call this test IG post. All right, fantastic. And then we're going to move over here to the panel on the left, which is your menu within your design space. So first off, we have our templates, which I've already told you about. They're super, super cool. If you, as I said, not that creative or you don't have much time, you can literally just click on anything here and you can fill in the text. You can change it to what you want to change it to, etc., etc. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of that. Over here by elements, this is another really amazing thing in Canva. You can add in shapes, you can add in little photos, little cartoon photos. You can even add in sort of real life, a photo gallery that Canva has for free. You can add in videos, you can add in music, you can add in charts, etc. There's so much to play with here in Canva. I'm just going to delete that and I'm going to put in this little square. Over here, we have the upload section. So this is super duper amazing. If you have like a product business and you've taken a product photo shoot, you can just click here and upload the photos that you've taken in order to put them into a Canva design. Over here, we have our text gallery. So remember that we spoke about the second basic graphic design principle, all about fonts. So you know how important fonts are in your design. Canva does an amazing job of giving you templated font options. So you can scroll through here and maybe you have a really fun modern brand and that's going to work for your business. You can literally just click on that and you can change this to say whatever you want to say. If you've clicked on font and now you're not too happy with that and you want to change it, you can also come over here at the top and you can click on different sort of more normal fonts. The reason why it still looks a bit weird is if we come up here to effects, we can add all of this crazy stuff and we can make the font look insane. But I'm just going to click over there to make our fonts not have any effects. And you can scroll down. If something has a little crown next to it, it means that it's a premium feature. If it doesn't, it means that it's a free feature. So we're just going to go ahead and click on this free font, and that is going to be our font. Down here is your audio if you want to add music to a design, and then you've got lots of more features if you click here on more. So for now, we are going to just move over here to our preset, and I'm going to show you how you can play with color in a design. So you can come up here to this little block, and Canva has these preset swatches available for you. So if you don't want to get too fancy, you just want to change it to green or to pink or whatever it happens to be, you can literally just click here. If you do have a specific color in mind, you can also come up here and play with tone. Or if you have a specific Pantone in mind, you can come and you can type in that code, for example. So that's how you play with color. Something also really cool with these elements that you can input from Canva is you can play with the size, you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. Over here, you can rotate it. So if you want to change the direction of something, just trying to get this back to 90 degrees. You can also make it thinner, you can make it thicker. So as you can see, the elements that Canva provides you with are super duper versatile. Something else that I absolutely love on Canva that all graphic designers love is playing with the transparency on objects. So you can literally come over here and make things more transparent, less transparent. And as you can see, we're not playing with the tone of the color, we're playing with the transparency. So if we put this over here, you can still see through it. Whereas if we did something like that and we moved it forward, you can't anymore. Something else that's very, very cool on Canva is we can play with the positioning of our elements. So remember, we spoke about alignment in our basic graphic design principles. So if you want Canva to do it for you, you can literally just click on an element and you can come over here to position and you can play with moving it to the top, to the middle, to the bottom, left, center, right, etc. Amazing. So once you have created your design, obviously this is a terrible design, but it's for the purposes of just helping you to see what you can do in Canva. And you're happy with it and you're ready to download, you would just come over here to this big download button. You would click download, and then you can choose, do you want to download it in a PNG format? Do you want to download it in a video or a GIF format? If you want to download a static image, I always recommend PNG, it's higher quality. You would just click on that and you would click download, and Bob's your uncle, it is downloaded. Okay, amazing. So you have seen me take you through the 5 basic principles of graphic design. You've seen me take you through the basic software that is Canva. But if you're sitting here like, Dom, that was super cool, thank you so much, but I don't think I have the time to do this. I'm not really interested in learning to do this myself for my business. That's perfectly fine. I've got you covered. That is what we do at Fizzin. We build social media posts, logos, websites, etc. Everything you could possibly need, that's what we do. I'm sure you've been reading the amazing testimonials that our fantastic clients have given us. They really appreciate what we do. And the awesome thing about what we do is that it's at super duper affordable prices. So if that's you, if you've been needing something graphic design done, something social media marketing done, hit us up.
Thank you so much, Lucretia.
Thank you, guys. I've stopped sharing because it's actually an American company and they charge us in dollars. So smart that you're the only one who could do that one. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. I've got literally 1 minute to go. I hope I have been
Perfect timing.
Anybody needs any help, Sherry, feel free to share my details and I'll be only too happy to assist anybody with any questions going forward. I would also like to share the video clip with you guys. So if you're interested as well, just pop me a message and I will be happy to share that entire video clip with you as well.
Great, thank you. Thanks everyone, and thank you for joining us on the E-Preneur journey this year. And thank you, Lucretia, for your time and your expertise. We really appreciate it. And yeah, stay well, everyone, until we meet again at our next event or coffee and conversation. Take care.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.